start by understanding what microplastics actually are. These are tiny plastic particles, usually less than 5 millimeters in size. Some microplastics are intentionally manufactured small, like the microbeads once used in skincare products, while others result from the breakdown of larger plastic items over time. Instead of decomposing, plastics fragment into smaller and smaller pieces, persisting in the environment. Because plastic is so widely used, microplastics have spread everywhere, from oceans and rivers to soil, air, and even remote places like the Arctic. Their small size and durability allow them to travel easily and reach places we might never expect. This widespread presence is why microplastics have become a global concern. Microplastics often begin as everyday plastic waste. Rain and wind can carry plastic debris into rivers and oceans, where it slowly breaks apart into smaller pieces. Even washing synthetic clothing releases tiny plastic fibers, called microfibers, into wastewater. Unfortunately, most treatment systems can't fully remove these particles. Once in the environment, microplastics can float, sink, or remain suspended, making it easy for them to spread widely and interact with many organisms. This means that microplastics are not just a problem in one place. They can travel far and wide, reaching new ecosystems and affecting countless species along the way. Once microplastics are in the environment, they often enter the food chain at its very base. Tiny organisms like plankton and algae can mistake microplastics for food because of their size and shape. When these organisms ingest microplastics, the particles become embedded in their bodies. As predators eat these contaminated organisms, the microplastics move up the food chain, passing from one level to the next. This process, known as trophic transfer, means that microplastics can eventually reach larger animals, and even humans, through what we eat. As microplastics move through the food chain, they don't just disappear. Instead, they can accumulate in the bodies of animals over time, a process called bioaccumulation. Fish and shellfish, for example, may eat many contaminated organisms, leading to higher concentrations of microplastics inside them. What's more, microplastics can absorb toxic chemicals from the environment. When predators eat contaminated prey, these toxins can become even more concentrated, a phenomenon known as biomagnification. This means that animals higher up the food chain, including humans, may be exposed to greater risks. Humans come into contact with microplastics every day, often without realizing it. One major route is through seafood, since fish and shellfish are directly connected to aquatic food chains where microplastics are common. But that's not the only way. Microplastics have also been found in drinking water, table salt, fruits, vegetables, and even household dust. Inhaling airborne plastic fibers adds yet another exposure pathway. All of this means that exposure to microplastics is a daily reality for people around the world, regardless of where they live. Scientists are still learning about what happens when microplastics enter the human body. Early research suggests that these particles may trigger inflammation, oxidative stress, and immune responses. Microplastics can also carry toxic chemicals and microorganisms, potentially increasing health risks. Some particles might pass through the body without causing harm, but others could interact with tissues and organs like the gut, liver, or lungs. Long-term effects are still unclear, but ongoing studies aim to better understand the potential impacts on our health. Microplastic pollution is a truly global issue. Because plastics can travel through air and water, no region is completely protected. Communities that rely heavily on seafood may face higher exposure, but the problem crosses borders and affects everyone. This issue connects environmental health with human health. Damage to ecosystems eventually impacts the quality of our food and water. Addressing microplastic pollution is essential for protecting both the planet and ourselves. Reducing our exposure to microplastics starts with reducing plastic use. Choosing reusable products, improving waste management, and supporting better material design can all make a difference. Policies that regulate plastic production and improve filtration systems are also vital. Continued scientific research will help us understand the problem and find new solutions. Every step counts when it comes to protecting our environment and our health. Microplastics may be tiny, but their impact is anything but small. They move through ecosystems, accumulate in food chains, and ultimately reach the human body. Understanding how this happens shows us that plastic pollution is not just an environmental issue, it's a public health concern as well. By raising awareness and taking action, we can help protect both nature and ourselves for the future.